Hey, I've got a really cool update on Sonny Bono. Now, if you remember, I did a video about Sonny Bono quite a while ago. And let's see, we'll go down here in the channel. There is Sonny Bono, who was the second in the series of famous Sicilians, which I am going to be getting back to. Frank Zappa was the first. And so after not being able to see a connection with Frank Zappa, I decided to look again into Sonny Bono. Sonny Bono, I grew up in the 70s. So, of course, all of us kids who grew up in the 70s, we all know the name Sonny Bono, of course, from Sonny and Cher. And so not only were they a big part of the 60s, very big part of the 70s pop culture, and Sonny was actually in the follow-up to, not nearly as good as the first Airplane, but he was in Airplane 2. And he was the mayor of Palm Springs for a while. And so after he was the mayor of Palm Springs, he was in Congress. And unfortunately, he passed away. Wow, it's been almost 30 years now in a terrible skiing accident. But a big part of my childhood. And to find out that he was a Sicilian was great. So I got a number of surprises here. So I always pose the question, are they on my tree? Are they related to me? And do they go back to where Mia Famiglia is from Carini, Sicily, which is in the Palermo province? So if you remember, Sonny Bono's family was from Montelepre. Now, Montelepre is very close to Carini. And this is one of the reasons why, because after learning about how much they traveled between provinces, like Trapani, and with like the last video I did, who was that? That was with the gangster. Joe Bananas, that there was even somewhat between provinces. So you got between Palermo and Trapani for Joe Bananas, for example, and also Salvatore Maranzano, which I did. So in the first video with Sonny Bono, I didn't get that far back. This time, like I said, this is a lot of work. I got back pretty damn far. So the first question is Sonny Bono on my tree? Because you could be on my tree and, of course, not blood related. So I have Shecky Green, who's on my tree. No blood relation as far as I know. But he is married to a blood relation to me. And I did the video there. That was with Vito Musso. Where is that video? Right there. Not too many people have seen it, so definitely check that out. That was a lot of fun to do. So getting to the question, is Sonny Bono on my tree? Let's take, yes, Sonny Bono is on my tree. And yes, Sonny Bono is related to me. We are fairly distantly related, so cue up the Spaceballs.
I am your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate.
What's that make us?
Absolutely nothing.
So we'll take a look and see just how Sonny Bono is related to me and Mia Famiglia. The second cousin, fourth times removed of husband, the third cousin, first time removed. So somebody married into Mia Famiglia. So let's get into this. Does Sonny Bono's family go back to Carini, Sicily? Now, I've been able to get pretty far back on the Bono line, and it turns out that Sonny Bono's line, like a lot of the families in Sicily, did not just in Montelepre. In fact, if we go down here, his mother's family is not from Montelepre. They are from Castiamare de Golfo, which is where Joe Bananas and Salvatore Maranzano and a lot of other gangsters are from. I have not been able to show a connection with Vincenzo Di Mercurio's family and Joe Bananas and the other gangsters, but maybe I can after another 10, 15 hours worth of work. So as you can see, I got the direct Bono line going back pretty far. And I do have all the records. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can see here, Tommaso Francesco Bono, 1712 Montelepre. It turns out, you see, and I see Bono with Spadafora. I mean, come on, Spadafora, that's a Carini name. We get to Giuseppe Giacomo Bono, and there it is. Carini, Sicily, and then he in 1686, and he did die in 1740. You'll see just how far back I have on the Bono line. Tommaso Bono, And this says Pardonico, and I cannot prove that. I have the name from a marriage record, but I don't know that they are from Pardonico. Yes, I do have the 1682 marriage record. That's it, Tommaso Bono. Not too bad of a record. Not too bad of a record. It's not too bad. We'll take a look at Tommaso Francesco Bono. I do have his 1712 Montelepre baptism record. This is one of the oldest records that I have. Well, below that bed, this is available on Family Search. Again, this is the catalog, not searchable, but they do have indexes at the beginning of each book. All right, so we got it right here. This is the 2nd January of 1712. Again, one of the oldest records I have going back on the direct Bono line for, of course, Sonny Bono. Now, there's some interesting connections here, and I mentioned that it's tough to get away from these mafia connections, and so you think, well, he's from Montelepre. What big gangsters do we know of from Montelepre? Well, again, the family didn't stay in Montelepre, so again, they went back to Carini. Some may have been in Pardonico. I can't prove that yet. Part of the line does go to Genesi, and we're going to see a familiar name here. We've got, so if we follow his, we follow his grandparents, Elisabetta, this comes up, his great-grandmother is Vita Paola Cottoni. And this is where it gets interesting, because it comes up here to a Vita Randazzo and a Rocco Cottoni. Now, Rocco Cottoni, you got to figure, that's a pretty tough-sounding name over there. Probably, maybe that. But it's this Vita Randazzo. And I'm a Randazzo. That's always going to get my attention. The Randazzos, this Randazzo line, also related to Mia Familia, Genesi. This is the big connection here. So we're going to open this up. Faro Randazzo and Rosalia Abate. We're going to follow these down over here. Salvador. Mio Nono is Salvador Randazzo also. We'll put this over here. So we're going to follow this down. Faro Randazzo. So if you've watched the videos, you know exactly where this is going. We're going to open that up. Oh, holy crap. Look at this. I'm going to just go one more. Sonny Bono has a relation to Giuseppe Impastato, Papino, who is the anti-mafia crusader and activist. Unfortunately, this does connect his mother, Felicia Bartolato. She is directly related to gangsters. Don Gaetano Badalamenti, who I did a video on. Let's see, where is Don? That's Don Gaetano right there. And Cesar Manzella, because Cesar Manzella is very closely related to Felicia Bartolotta. If you're not up on those connections, then check out the videos here on the channel, and you can see. This also does show when we see, come on, don't do that. When we see Sonny Bono so closely related to these folks from Genesi, if you go back into the channel and you see some of the videos that I did in my Genesi, in all these Genesi videos, that would mean that Sonny Bono is also fairly closely related to all the people on those census records that I found. So Detroit, and if you go back into we know that the Bonos did initially immigrate and were in Detroit and then moved to California, of course, where Sonny Bono was raised. Some unexpected connections. I didn't expect to get Sonny Bono on my tree. I certainly did not expect that his family went back to Carini, Sicily, and were related to me. I really didn't think that he was going to be so closely related to these gangsters and the anti-mafia crusader who was murdered, probably on orders of Gaetano Badalamenti, Peppino, who was murdered in 1978. In Genesi, Sicily. So really, really surprised at those connections. And looking at his mother's side, who were from Castiglione di Golfo, a lot of work goes into trying to get these back. And I got back a pretty decent amount. Not so much on the De Mercurios, not much records, but I was able to get back pretty far for the rest. not able to make a connection with the, like I said, I wasn't able to make a connection yet with the gangsters like Joe Bananas and Salvatore Maranzano from Castiamare de Golfo, but it would take probably a bit more, probably a few more hours worth of work to do that. So if you'd like to help support the channel so I could do more videos like this more frequently, you can do so by going to the channel, going into the description of this video, and also hitting the store link. And genealogy, I know where all the bodies are buried, like I mentioned that. And I like this one. Can I find one normal person in this family, right? Especially when you're going through and you're finding some of the things that I have found that I've been able to chronicle in the video, some of the terrible things that I've been able to find, but also some of the really cool things, such as being related to Sonny Bono.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.